This is Jonathan St. James, and you're listening to The Truth is Still Straight podcast.
All right, folks, this is Jonathan St. James, and once again, it is the Truth is Still Straight podcast. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, folks, before we get started, I'm going to have a message from Sister Millie from the West Coast who likes to chime in, especially in the comments. So, Sister Millie from the West Coast, what do you have to say for us this week?
Ever since I was born, I've been trained to serve you.
Oh, wow. Excuse me, Sister Millie. I cannot believe you just said that, but okay. All right, folks. All right. Okay. Enough of that. Okay, so let's get to the shout outs. And of course, I want to thank everybody. Listen, people, I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I guess subscribers, they don't list the subscribers. So if I miss you, please forgive me. It's just that I'm not getting the list of new subscribers from YouTube for some reason. And then I am not getting, like, even some comments that people left. I didn't even see them. They didn't send me an email telling me there was a comment left. So I sort of checked the, actually, I went to respond to a comment that I did get a notification for, and I saw there were previous comments. So I try to respond to them today. I apologize for that. And for YouTube, you're definitely
Stupid.
And let's go. So I'm giving a shout out to all the supporters that I know that are tuning in and subscribing, liking. A combination of one is not a combination, so excuse me. All right. Anyway, those people are Pedro Falcone, Kenny Alpha, Sister Millie from the West Coast, Burundi Shasfa one day, Jario V, Mr. Wilkes, Milton Gonzalez, Snotty, Reggie, Courtney, K-Law, Latoya Shelia, Michael Thomas, Darrell Big G Galloway, Sam T, James Wilson, Tyrone Biggs, Terrence Meir, JD Whitelaw, Julian Flournoy, Kid Vegas 8402, Eric Jordan, Michael McCreary, Kane Major, Kundalini Lee, Marcus A. Morris, Heath, 313 Money Team, Tashawn Howell, Steve Stowe, Marvin Banks, Anthony Perry, Nelson Fu, Luke Afsaf, BM Minded, TM Rowland, Flavor Sweet, Eric Jordan, Glenn Isaac, McTow Griffin, Soapbox Willie, Steve Opoku, Brian Lindeman, Jojo A. Gogo, Big K3695, Still Sharp and Still, Stefan, Plug 2, Chaos Angel, Thomas Ford, Gary Leonard, Fidel Castro, Frank Atongfor, Marcus Renton, Cunha Z Almighty, Krista Brown, new subscriber, Joe Fit, Jonathan Pope, Corporate ENT, Wash Gamer, also a new subscriber, Dominic Volpe, 10 Lassie, Total Misdemeanor 75, Dan M. New, and Majik, Showtime, Michael Ray, Jay Wade, R.W. Lamont, who's also new, Michelle Carlisle, Sandra Jones, Cobra Clutch, Tayel Cole, MD Sutherland, Day China, Salah Aldin, No Edit Vlog Philippines, George Stewart, Janet Lampard, Jose Garcia, Vada, Submissive Wife, Louis Campos, who's new, and Cosmic Funk Rabbit. Thank you for your support. All right, folks. So I'm not going to waste anyone's time here. I'm going to get right into the video for today. And the name of this video is Why Should I Give Him What He Wants? Marry Me Now. And this is Kevin Samuels talking to a lady on that subject. That aired actually September 12, 2021. About to get this rolling. As soon as I get it queued up, the sound's all ready to go, I will start this footage now. And here we go.
Are they ready to be wives or just ready to be side chicks at best?
I would say a lot of women in this society are ready to be side chicks more than wives. I feel like they feel like the benefits are easier to reap than being through a struggle or in an actual committed and serious situation or structure. Maybe a lot of them haven't had any structure, or maybe male role models, or a male opinion on.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Because do you think the average modern woman is taking life seriously?
No, definitely not at the degree of City Girls and Hot Girl Summer.
And is that including
That's
you?
what it really comes. That's because it comes down to. How old is your child?
She's 6.
Okay, so before a child and after a child are two different things.
Yes.
You have to take life a hell of a lot more seriously when you're responsible for the life of somebody else.
Definitely.
So okay, go ahead. I don't want to. You only got a few minutes. You have a question that you want to ask me, because I've already asked my question
Yes,
to you.
I do. I actually am in a relationship with my child's father, and have been for 8 years. I definitely have a father figure. He raised me. My mother was in and out of my life, so just trying to hone in the maturity level of the male's perspective.
Okay,
on how
what do you want as an outcome with your man?
I would like to be married. Well, we're on our way. We've been engaged for 2 years.
How many children does he have?
We both share one.
Okay. And how old is he?
He's 29.
And you're how old again?
27.
So what's the hold up on marriage?
He says my attitude and the way that I speak, I would say, towards men, which I agree. I feel like seeing my mother, kind of the way she talks to my father, even now they're not together and it's been 20 years, I do see a lot of resemblance in.
I feel sorry for your mother.
So you disrespect your child's father?
In arguments, yes. And out of anger. Not necessarily to disrespect him, like.
Okay, so.
As a man.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, how you fight says a lot.
Yes.
I agree with that. And I just want to stop it there for a minute. And I just wanted to make a point that she said she's disrespectful to him when she's angry. Now, this is what I'm beginning to learn a lot of times. Not always saying that is true, but in a lot of cases, I find a lot of women who live in urban areas. I don't know where this lady's from, but I find that women in cities, let's just use like New York or Chicago or something like that, are extremely combative in nature during disagreements. And then I also find secondary women are combative when they've seen it growing up. So, like, let's say, for example, if they experience domestic violence or their mother experienced that, they tend to be more combative than women who are from the South. Not saying that, you know, women from the South are better than women from places like New York, Chicago, Detroit, and stuff like that. But I would just say, from my experience, that women that I know, that these are usually the categories that are where women are combative, women that are from urban areas or cities rather, and then women who've experienced either firsthand domestic violence or have been witness to domestic violence in the homes. So not saying that's 100% always the case. I wish perhaps Kevin would ask that, but anyway, I digress.
So he's been with you for 8 years, and you have a child. If he was taken away from you tomorrow in a car accident, you think you could operate like that with another man and him marry you?
No.
No.
Okay. So if you got a man that's with you, either you act like you need to act, or you run the risk of losing him.
Yes, and that's my question is to get into the mindset of not, well, I don't want to say like submit, like how feminist or whatever use that word, but like submit more, and so like having a male like leadership and me taking the backseat and not trying to be the leader. If that
Why are
makes
you you want to know what I think or what he thinks?
know what you think, like what am
Well,
would you
okay,
do?
ma'am, you listen to your man.
Mm-hmm.
Right, of
Do
course.
we, okay, because I'm not going to overstep my boundaries. That is your child's father, and he's been with you 8 years. He told you what he wants.
Right.
Here's what you do.
He did.
Here's what you do. You do it.
Right.
You don't need me to come. You don't need me, Jesus, the pastor, to tell you something else when you got a man who's there by you.
Right.
That's disrespectful by itself. Why don't you just give the man what he wants?
Even if I feel as though I am, would
You
that
stupid.
not suffice?
If I asked him, are you giving him what he wants? What would he say?
Nope.
I would hope yes.
Nah.
Okay, if you're saying the hold up on marriage is the way you act towards him disrespectfully, right?
Yes.
Then you're not giving him what he wants.
That's right.
Right.
See, what it comes down to is this rebellious spirit in you females.
Right.
You want to give him what you think he deserves. And if he would up and leave you, then you'd be on my show talking about how your baby daddy left. The man.
That is true. Let me stop it there real quick. I just want to comment. I'm going to comment on real brief because I don't have a lot to say on this particular part of the conversation. But here's the problem that I have with this lady. And if you watch many of these episodes that Kevin Samuels does, and this conversation takes place or similar to this, you always hear the women agree with what Kevin's saying, that they know that they do these things, but they don't do anything different. So they know the problem. They know that what the problem is that they're causing, but they don't make the adjustment, because if they did, why would they be talking on Kevin Samuels asking questions?
Emotional damage.
Let's continue.
Told you what he wants. Either you give it to him or you leave him alone and let
Step
him go
off.
get a woman that's going to give him what he wants.
Facts.
I'm not one for breaking up families, but you're just being outright rebellious.
Right. I would agree to.
See?
being
So
up-
I gotta ask a hard question then.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
If you lose him, you think you're gonna do better?
Definitely not.
Then why don't you act like that?
Yeah, I definitely want to do that.
No, you
I
don't.
do.
There's no want to, man. There's no reason to not respectfully cooperate.
Right.
You've been around here for 8 years.
Mhm.
This is about you, your ego, and your attitude. It ain't about how you were raised, everything else. Sounds like he's made it too easy for you.
That is
Or
true.
you've lost respect for him.
That's true.
And when
No,
I hear women,
respect him.
if you respect him, you wouldn't open your mouth and say what you say in an argument.
That's facts.
Right. I agree with that part.
Then how are you gonna say you respect him?
No, I mean, it's just like things are said like in the heat of the moment, not necessarily like that's how I treat him throughout the
Ma'am, I've been alive too long.
Yes.
When these arguments start, come on, hold the phone up. Your face is too low. When
Okay.
these arguments start, see, you fight dirty. And what I'm hearing is you talk to your man like a woman.
No.
Oh yeah, you do. Because if you talk to him like you should talk to a man, you should know from a safety standpoint that you need to keep your mouth closed. See, when two men are talking, there's a low-level threat of violence.
That's true.
If I'm sitting here talking to a man, I know there are lines. I
Right.
can't cross certain lines with any man. I don't care how big or small he is. After a certain line, we're gonna have to shoot the fair one.
Mhm.
But
Right.
you you will go damn well low because you know good and well he ain't gonna do nothing.
I'll knock you out.
Because if you talk the way if you argued with him, if you argue with a woman the way you argue with him, would you and that woman end up in a conflict?
Probably not. Nope.
Possibly.
No.
I feel like it depends. Like, it's not necessarily like always like a threat or, you know, aggressive. It's just maybe the way I say certain things or pertaining to certain situations. Like, it may not be in his perspective. And
No, ma'am, we're not talking about those. We're not talking about the innocent thing. We're talking about when you know you're saying something low and dirty just to hurt him.
Right.
Okay, then you're doing it to hurt.
Right.
All right. So you're intentionally inflicting damage on your man.
Mm-hmm.
And if he were to turn around and physically inflict damage on him, the society would blame him and say he shouldn't do it. But you could be verbally violent with your child's father.
That's true.
Right, which I agree. I don't want to be that way. I don't think that.
So now here we go with the
emotional damage.
Because here's the thing. Again, as I said previously, you say you know you do this. You don't want to do it, but you still do. What's up with that? I'm just saying.
Then have you had any therapy?
I have. And
okay.
Counseling.
It was more like church-based though.
Counseling.
So
then that's not therapy.
Yeah.
Ma'am, here's the thing. I think you take your man for granted. I think that if you've been with him so long, you ain't been out here. I'm not really an advocate for families breaking up, but I bet you if he left you and got him another woman and you had to figure it out for this year, I bet you found a way to control your mouth and get under control. You know what this man wants. You know what he wants.
To take those braids out.
Then give it to him or risk losing him. See, gentlemen, this is why you don't ever let your women this is why we should never let our women get comfortable. Because this is what happens. They start to end up, inevitably, the disrespect happens.
Yeah.
Women test for strength. And so many men are trying to be the nice guy, and we're getting bitched.
That's true.
Well, I definitely don't want to bitch him. That's not what I.
Well, when's the last time you guys had an argument that you did you talk dirty or foul?
Yesterday.
Well, not necessarily talking dirty, but like I wasn't listening. He was trying to like calm me down because I was in another altercation with another person.
Wow.
And he was just kind of saying
a physical altercation?
No, just a verbal.
Who was this person?
Another female.
Well, was it a coworker or something?
No, just a friend. Like we just wasn't seeing eye to eye on a particular situation, and it got to the point where disrespect was being thrown. So of course, between
you and this other woman.
Yes.
Were you guys in person?
Yes. And
was this person at your house? Was this person at your house?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell her to leave your house?
I did.
Okay. And why didn't she leave your house?
I mean, she did. Eventually, she was like gathering her things and like leaving. But in the middle of me telling her to leave, that's when words were being exchanged, and he was trying to calm me down.
See the way I'm that's that man's castle.
Mm-hmm.
And your female friend is bringing chaos into his castle.
Right.
Your job is to make sure his castle stays chaos free. Not to get your point across and get your shit straightened out with your girl.
Right.
That was disrespectful to him, and he's out of his alignment trying to calm you down when your first priority should have been, you can't raise your voice in my man's house.
Now I wonder if it's really her man's house. That may be the issue too. Did he move in with her, or did she move in with him, or did they move in together? That's always a circumstance to factor in when there's disharmony or discord in the home. How did you move in together? Who bought the place or rent, or who put their name on the lease. Who's the breadwinner in the house? I don't know what the answer is to that, but that can be an issue too. Why she feels like she can say whatever she wanted to say. I think it's very important how relationships, foundations are built on relationships. I believe that's important to the direction that it moves in. If a guy is not really a provider and protector, and he doesn't come off that way in the beginning when they're dating and they're building this relationship, it sort of goes south from there. And I've come to that realization. And I myself have been there in my life where the foundation wasn't built on me being the provider or protector or those things. It was trying to build this equal partnership and, like he said, try to get along. That's what I try to do. Try to be nice. And when you try to be nice, it doesn't work. You're not being tough. When you're not being tough, you can run into some problems in relationships. And I've tried to be that guy. And it didn't work well in the beginning, when I was in those kind of relationships. And then as I grew up, I was a lot young at the time, didn't know too much about these things that Kevin speaks of. And relationships really didn't go well when you try to do it that way, be the nice guy and not, stand on your square and not accept things and have standards and live off of principles. So that could be a problem. They didn't really talk about it, but
Right.
That's not gonna work. And if she got something to say, you down 911.
Right. I agree.
But that's not what happened. You was arguing with her, and he's over here trying to save it. This is why, gentlemen, perfect example. We're all out of alignment. You sound like the man in the relationship.
Yeah.
No.
You do.
No.
You do.
I definitely don't.
Why is this woman arguing in your man's house? Why are you arguing with a woman in your man's house?
You're right.
Thank you.
I mean, I was the one that was like trying to.
He's trying to calm you down like a wife would try to calm her husband down.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
I see you.
Gender roles are blurred. But at the end of the day, it's not like you got a guy who's trying to work with you. Maybe you need to do what I suggest doing and cut off your single friends, get you some actual counseling and therapy, get you some couples counseling, and start off and go down to the justice of the peace, get married, move to a different city, and live your life with your family. Because all this is chaotic.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you're moving and acting in life as if this man ain't gonna leave.
Yep.
Everybody got a breaking point.
I agree.
Think about it. Have a good day.
That's pretty much the end of the video there. And yeah, so I want to say that was a good conversation that Kevin had with the woman. She definitely knows what the problem is, but she really doesn't address what the problem is. And that is very dangerous when you have a woman that does that, because that means you choose to behave that way. So that's pretty much it for the video. I'm going to get down to the braces. And although I usually address the person, this applies to any person in this situation. Relationship braces. Bringing hearts together, one heart at a time. 27-year-old woman who's been in a relationship with this guy, 2 years engaged. How can you make it past these types of things and find the reward in relationships that you want? Well, again, like I say, this is not specifically addressed to her, but in general to people who fall under this category. I'm going to say this. I think it's important to really reflect on yourself. Apparently, she did some reflection. But once you do the reflection, you need to really get a fair assessment of who you are. And once you do that, I think what he's saying in terms of the therapy and counseling, very important. I think the most important thing you can do in a relationship is get to know yourself and who you are and why you do the things that you do. Once you can do that, then you have a shot at happiness. Not saying it's guaranteed, but with the work and the effort, you'll have the best chance that you could ever have. With that, those are the braces once again. All right, folks. So that's pretty much it. I thank you for tuning in. See, I've kind of leveled out to all my supporters, and I thank you. I'm grateful. And until next time, this is Jonathan Think James, and I am out.